In this video, 8 of the fastest B-class hatchbacks will show what they can do in 7 different challenges in Forza 6. But before we start with that, what even is a hatchback? The first official hatchback was the Volkswagen Golf. A hatchback is a car with a hatchback. And already the first Golf had a GTI version. That was the first sporty hatchback. And today we have a lot of different brands which build sporty hatchbacks. And today I took 8 of them in Forza 6 and I will compare them in 7 challenges. Let's look at the cars. Of course, the OG, the Volkswagen Golf, need to be in this challenge. The 2021 R version with 315 horsepower out of a 2-liter inline-4 engine and all-wheel drive should perform well here. Another German car and loved for its 2.5-liter inline-5, the Audi RS3. The car is from 2011, so it's the first RS3 generation ever, and the oldest car in this video, with 335 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque, and the legendary Quattro all-wheel drive. This car also got good chances. We stay in Europe and we go to French, the Renault Megane RS from 2018. A 1.8-liter turbo inline-6 is producing just 280 horsepower. Megane got just front-wheel drive, but with 1.4 tons, it is pretty light. For example, the Audi weighs 1.7 and the Golf weighs 1.5 tons. Now we go to the USA. The iconic Ford Focus shouldn't be missing in this video. The Ford Focus ST from 2023 was my choice. It isn't the strongest with 280 horsepower out of a 2.3-liter EcoBoost inline-4. But it is also light, and maybe through its age it got another advantage, because this car is just 3 years old. We go to Asia, to Korea to be more exact. The Hyundai i30N and its little brother, the i20N, because I just want to see what a small car like the i20 with less horsepower but also less weight can do. Maybe it has a good chance. With just 1.2 tons, it is very light, but with 200 horsepower, it is by far the weakest. The i30 got 280 horsepower like the Ford and the Megane, and also 1.4 tons of weight. Now Japan, the country where Forza 6 takes place. The Honda Civic from 2015 with a 306 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque, strong 2-liter engine with VTEC and a turbo, 1.4 tons of weight, all the power goes to the front wheels, should be a good competitor to the others. And last but not least, also from Japan, the small Toyota GR Yaris, all-wheel drive and a small 1.6-liter inline-3 with insane 260 horsepower. Once again, that's an inline-3. That's legit one of the smallest engine you can get in a modern car. Some motorcycles have more cylinders. And of course, this car got a lot of rally heritage, cause it's just a rally car for the street. This car should be fine for this challenge as well. That are the cars. Let us start with the first challenge. And by the way, the winner gets 7 points, the second place 6, and it goes down up to the last place. The last place gets nothing. So let's start with a classic drag race. So that are the points, let's go on. After the drag race, we know which car is the fastest on the straight. But how does it look when we go to a time attack race? I chose the Sony time attack for that. Has very sharp corners and not many straights. I gave every of these cars semi-slick tires, and let's see which one can get the best time on this track. Some of these cars even got up to A class with these tires. The time attack track is called Sony Time Attack. Can Xbox players also drive on this? Okay, let's just start.
No. It's now illegal.
The Volkswagen Golf was kind of disappointing. The car got all-wheel drive, not as much weight as the Audi, and is the second strongest car. But it handles like shit. It feels like it still got front-wheel drive. It's understeering the whole time. even with semi-slicks, this car just doesn't drive good at all. It got a 54.588. Let's go on to the Ford. And right from the start I could already feel this car is way lighter and way more agile than the Volkswagen. And this car got A-class with the semi-slick tires. But honestly, there's nothing interesting to tell about this car. It just drives like you expect a front-wheel drive hatchback with around 300 horsepower. When you accelerate in a corner, you understeer instantly, but that's the only thing. And the Ford was faster than the Golf R. Isn't a surprise for me, cause the Golf R drives like it weighs 2 tons. So let's move on to the Hyundai i30N. And honestly, it feels the exact same like the Ford. I mean, these cars are pretty even, around 270 horsepower, front-wheel drive. They're basically the same. And the time was also very similar. So let's move on to another interesting car, the Audi. The Audi is way heavier than the others, but it got all-wheel drive and 335 horsepower. That's a lot. I mean, our weakest car has 200. The car is a bit older, so the gearing is a bit slower and everything, but I think through brutal power this car can still get an insanely good time here. But 1.7 tons for a hatchback is a lot. So ended up being not so fast as expected, even with semi-slicks. So let's move on to the Renault Megane. There is nothing interesting to say about the Renault. It honestly feels exactly like the Ford, with the small difference that this car sounds not as good and it got a bit worse grip. That are the only differences I can notice. But one car that got a few interesting things is the Hyundai i20N. Cause this car is very light, this car had the best cornering out of all cars. Even with front-wheel drive, this car was better than the other all-wheel drive cars. But on the straights, this car is of course much slower than the others. But the time is pretty good for having like 80 up to 130 horsepower less than the others. Last but not least, the Honda Civic. The Honda Civic doesn't feel that well on this track, cause much power isn't very helpful in sharp corners. On the straights, yes, this car is performing pretty well, but in the corners, all of the power just to the front wheels isn't really helpful. But still, this car was pretty good. Here are the final results. Honestly, I'm surprised how well the Yaris and the i30 did, and I'm disappointed about the Renault. Even we have 5 front-wheel drive cars, nothing can stop me from doing a drift challenge. It's just needed. But how do I drift with front-wheel drive cars? It's quite simple. You just accelerate until you have a bit speed, go in like second, third, or sometimes even fourth gear. Press the handbrake and hold it the whole time. So the rear wheels get blocked the whole time. They don't spin at all, and they have no grip. It's slowing down the car pretty much, so you can't do this the whole time. But for some corners, this will be enough. And I think it's good because the drift track I chose has just a view, a bit sharp, but not that long corners. So these cars don't lose that much speed on them. And let's go. So in the end, it was obvious the front-wheel drive cars weren't as good as the all-wheel drive cars. Or maybe it is my driving skill. Nah, that can't be. The Toyota Yaris once again won this? All of these cars in this challenge, every of these cars had, at least in some generations, to do with rally. So I guess let's see how much rally heritage is left in these cars. I gave every single car rally tires, and let's see which one is the fastest. We start with the Hyundai i30N, and I thought the front wheel drive cars would absolutely suck here, because they would just understeer, but it seems like the rally tires are grippy enough on the gravel so that these cars don't slide that much. And actually, the front-wheel drive cars all were better than the Volkswagen Golf, at least from the driving feeling. I don't know what is wrong with this car, but it feels like the front springs are so stiff. This car don't want to turn, don't want to do anything. I don't know why. I thought that the Audi and the Toyota Yaris would absolutely destroy the other ones. And the Toyota was actually very nice, but the Audi was kind of disappointing. I think once again it's cause of the weight, because the Audi weighs way too much. I think that can maybe cost the Audi the win of this challenge. If the Audi would be just 100 kilograms lighter, then I think it would absolutely destroy all of the others. But in the end, the Toyota was the fastest. The Hyundai i30, the Ford and the Renault were all pretty even. The i20N was way better in the corners, but lost a bit on the straights. In this challenge, one thing is very annoying, because when I talk about like the Hyundai i30, the same things is with the Ford and the Renault Megane, because these cars are very, very even. Every other car got something which makes it special, like the Honda got way more power, Volkswagen got all-wheel drive, the Audi got all-wheel drive but much weight, the Hyundai is very light, the Toyota is very light and got all-wheel drive, but in the end, the Toyota was by far the fastest. It is unbelievable that the Audi messed up so much in this challenge. All of these hatchbacks are supposed to be sports cars, and what does a sport car need? Of course, a good sound, because a good sound is more important than good performance. I mean, look at Dodge Challenger drivers. This car can drive a corner, but it sounds very good. Most of them have 4 cylinders, we have one 5-cylinder, and we have 2 3-cylinders. Let's see which one sounds the best. Of course, it's just my personal preference. Maybe you think a car sounds better than the other, but I don't care, it's my video. So let's listen to the engines of these cars. I think 90% of you will agree with me when I say the Audi sounds the best. So here are the points, and let's go to the next challenge. By the way, I kicked one challenge out while making this video cause they have all literally the same braking way. So challenge number 6 doesn't count. Hatchbacks are also like in the tuning scene. Especially the new Audi RS3s are very popular in the tuning scene cause they got the 2.5 liter inline 5, which is one of the best modern tuning engines you can find. So I tuned these cars. Everything is possible with these hatchbacks. The weakest is, once again, the Hyundai. The strongest is the Golf. And let's see which of these cars performs the best in a sprint race. By the way, some of the cars didn't reach S1 800 cause there was one rule for tuning them. The engine need to stay the same, cause the engine is one very important part of the car, and if I change it, I mean, yes, you can engine swap every engine in a car, but that were the rules, and that were the rules for everyone. So it is fair. So the Audi reached just 770, for example, or the Hyundai i30 790. Let's start. The Audi RS3 was always like a half Audi R8. Cause 5-cylinder instead of 10, but now this car is sicker than every R8. With 600 horsepower, this car is just insane. The cornering is pretty good, but you still feel that it is a bit heavier, cause even though I reduced the weight, it's still a bit heavier than other cars. But overall, a solid time. This car is driving really good, and the Audi is through the finish line. You will see the times at the end. Now it is time for the Ford. The Ford got one of the nicest looking body parts I've ever seen on such a normal street car, but they don't count as aerodynamic parts for Forza. This car got a way higher top speed than the others. The others got like a top speed of 280, 290. This car can reach over 300 without a problem. And since it is a sprint race, maybe this is an advantage, maybe it is, we will see that in the end. But overall, even the handling of this car is insane. I think overall it's one of my favorites of all of them. Now the Honda Civic. And no, there's no laptop on the passenger seat, but still this car is insane. The VTEC inline 4 is a pretty good tuning engine. And this car is also 600 horsepower. This car is just amazing. Of course, every of these cars got all-wheel drive, no one still has front-wheel drive. And still the Honda wasn't able to handle all of that power that well. But overall, solid. Better on the straights than in the corners, but solid. Now the small i20. With just 1.17 tons and all-wheel drive, this car is extremely light. But it also got just 430 horsepower. And the cornering is just brutal. This car sticks like a supercar. The aerodynamic parts of the Ford weren't adjustable, but they look exactly like the from the Hyundai i20 and they are adjustable? That makes no sense. This car struggles with speeds higher than 200, but beneath this speed it's just accelerating brutally and the cornering is from another world. I really love this small thing. So now it is time for the overkill. The very ugly overkill. I think the Forza aerodynamic part worked with the Honda cause this aggressive look just fits to the Honda, but not to the Volkswagen. It just looks stupid. But this car got 670 horsepower. That's more than a Lamborghini Huracan STO got. But this car also got just very thin tires. And this car, in the slow corners, it can't handle it at all. But on high speed, this car is pretty nice until it reaches 250, then it's getting much slower. Overall, from the driving feeling, that was one of the worst. Now, the by far best looking one of them, the Toyota Yaris. It got a very nice wide body kit. This car just doesn't look like the small hatchback it was before. This car just looks brutal. And it is with 555 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and this car got an insane aerodynamic. Cornering is pretty good, but also the speed is pretty good. Just the perfect mix out of speed and cornering. Okay, we have the Renault Megane. This car just reached 770, which is very low. And honestly, the aerodynamic parts also look very bad, like on the Golf. Overall, this car drove very solid in the corners. Even before tuning, the Megane was way better in corners than on the straights. I was surprised. First I was surprised, but then we hit the straight and it was nothing special. So last but not least, the Hyundai i30. Once again, brutal optic. This is just beautiful. And this car sadly also reached just 790, but this car was also very solid. Good speed, good acceleration, good cornering. But once again, nothing special to tell about this. So, and now here are all the final times, and you can see which one was the fastest. And so, here are the points, and that was all. That was the last challenge. Renault Megane had a very tough start. I like the design, but the car sucks. It's just not good. The Hyundai i20, very light, very nice to drive, but just not enough power. Volkswagen, it's just shit. The car just doesn't want to turn at all. Hyundai i30, there's legit nothing to say about this car. Drives okay, sounds not that good. Completely sucks at rally. Got nice tuning options, but that's all. Audi RS3, very disappointing. Too heavy, too old, but nicest sound. The Ford, it feels exactly like the i30N, but with a bit more torque. Honda Civic, by far one of the coolest, but too much power for front-wheel drive, which cost him the win. The Toyota Yaris, an absolute overkill. This car is a rally car, but just for the street. Even with a 3-cylinder, better than the Audi with a 5-cylinder or the Honda with a 2-liter VTEC engine. I expected the Audi to win this, but in the end, the small Toyota Yaris won this. Thanks for watching, and yes, with watching I meant the two guys who fell asleep on their keyboard. These videos take forever to make. If you enjoyed it, then I can't tell you what's wrong with you. Goodbye.